Stop walking other people's paths and learn how to walk your path. That's Profound Peace and Blessings. This is Derric Moore. And in this video, I want to talk about walking your own path, creating your own religion for yourself. Before I begin, I want to say that, first of all, the whole purpose of actually doing this video is really because I've had some people that go in and they hit me up in my email after they've read the blog, after they watch maybe, one or two videos or so, after they, read an excerpt or, even read any of the books or so. They'll go ahead and they'll say, hey, Derric, or hey, Raku, we didn't, you said this is what you did and these are the things to do and all that kind of stuff. But this conflicts or it contradicts what this archaeologist says, or what this Egyptologist says, or what whomever else, whatever they say. Okay. And I have no problem with the questioning. I understand the reason why people question it, because in this day and age, you have to really depend a lot upon the scholarly work. But one of the things that you have to realize is that on this spiritual path, when you're walking a spiritual path, there comes a point in the journey where you have to go ahead and you have to put aside the books and you have to start trusting your intuition. You have to start trusting your higher self. You have to start trusting your ancestors and your spirit guides. And that's basically what you have to do. Okay? I've mentioned before in previous videos, there's a part where the whole scientific and logical reasoning, there's a point where it ends, and a point where the whole esoteric and the occult where it begins. And this is where you, if you've come across and you've looked, you've watched any of my videos, if you've read my blog post, if you have read any of the books, you will notice that most of the information you find, most of everything I'm telling you, you're not going to really find it. You're not going to find it in a book. Okay. And it's not so much that I'm going ahead and, I'm making certain things up just to be making it up. Okay. It is basically that, like I stated before, there's a point where the book's end and your intuition takes in, and it takes over rather. And I've mentioned this, and this is part of the reason why I always give that disclaimer. You don't have to trust, and you don't have to trust anything I say. And please challenge anything, anything that I have written, anything I've stated, challenge it for yourself. Because I'm not forcing and I'm not trying to get people to follow anything that I'm doing. I'm not trying to get people to follow or co-sign with anything that I'm doing, because that's not the purpose of it. I'm just going ahead and I'm reporting, hey, this is what happened to me when I tried this. How about you try this? Okay? And part of the reason why a lot of people, they feel this way, part of the reason why a lot of people, when it comes to actually trying to, you're reading certain things and you're kind of really skeptical about a lot of things. Part of the reason why that happens is because a lot of people really do not understand what religion is. Religion is basically the byproduct of what we call ritual and ceremonial magic. Ritual and ceremonial magic is basically a magical system that is just a magical system and a magical theory that is, it basically is based upon the psychology of how the mind works. That's it. Okay. If you're familiar with the chakra system, if you're familiar with the, tree of life, both of these are systems that they're mapped about the universe. It's a map of the universe that compares it to the human mind in different forms and different variations or so. Okay, that's all it does. It gives you a kind of, like I said, it gives you a roadmap to kind of theorize how the mind works. That's what magical systems do. But and they study basically the psychology of the mind. They study how the mind works. But if you don't understand how the mind works, then what happens is it is that information, that science is dumbed down to a religion. And religion basically becomes a superstitious belief or superstitious beliefs and practices from ritual and ceremonial magic. Okay? So let me give you an example. Most of us who've grown up in the church, you know that we are taught that we have to go to church and you're supposed to go to church, and every Sunday you got to go to church. If you don't go to church at least if you don't go to church at least once a week, then hell and damnation basically is going to come to you. You're going to be punished. Okay, that's a superstitious belief. That's the religious belief. The ritual and ceremonial reason why you go to church so many times is because we are creatures of habit. We have a subconscious part of our being. And in order to impress anything upon your subconscious, you have to do it repetitively. That's the whole reason for going to church constantly. But like I said, if you don't understand the psychology of the human mind, it basically becomes the reason why you do it is because if you don't do it, you're going to get punished. Okay? It becomes a superstitious beliefs. So what people don't understand is that when you get past this, if you get out of the religion and you get into the ritual and ceremonial magic, or what is considered to be the spiritual sciences, once you go ahead and you really start to understand and you digest the spiritual sciences, you understand it and you're able to use it, the next phase is to start listening to your higher self, listening to your ancestors, listening to your spirits, testing your spirits. Okay? And that's the stage that you want to be in. When you get into that phase, this is where you're living the whole story, the whole Kemetic story of Osir, in which you're living and being like Heru. The reason why Heru, or in Greek Horus, wears the double Pashent crown, the white and red crown, is because the white crown symbolizes now he's being led by his higher self. He's no longer just going ahead and doing things based upon his intellect. Okay? That's what the red crown symbolizes. He is now going ahead and he's listening and he's following his Osir. He's following his ancestors. He's following his spirit guides. He's listening to them. He's following higher counsel. Okay? This is the path that you want to be on. This is the whole purpose of wearing the double, like I said, the double red and white, or white and red Pashent crown. This is the whole purpose of it. And we all have that ability within us. We all have the divine within us. We do not need laws to tell us how to do things the correct way. We don't need that, because the divine lives within us. We just happen to live in a society that does not understand or does not know that the divine is within us, or rather they know but don't want people to resurrect that part within them. So hopefully that makes sense. Like I said before, if you got any questions, you got any comments or so, feel free to drop me a line. Okay, I am reading through and reading every comment, every question that comes to mind that is basically being brought to me. If there's a comment or a question that's brought to mind or dropped online, and I don't respond and immediately, understand I'm researching it. That's probably what's going on, and that's the reason why I haven't responded. But again, like I said, if you got any questions or so, just drop me a line. Again, as I've stated before, thanks again for sharing. Thanks again for liking and subscribing. Until next time, heads up, peace.
Let me just take it on. Just take it on to the house. Come on, Tigolo. Be strong. Be strong, Tigolo. Be strong. Just take it home.